In Iran, thousands rallied across the Persian nation to bid farewell to President Ebrahim Raisi. In Palestine, Israeli troops stormed the occupied West Bank city of Jenin, killing a doctor, a teacher, and a student. And in Mexico, authorities agreed to deploy more than 250,000 Army and National Guard troops to guarantee security on Election Day. Hello, welcome from the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Massive crowds mobilized across Iran to bid farewell to President Ebrahim Raisi, who died in a helicopter crash. On Tuesday, thousands gathered around the square to pay their last respects to the bodies of President Raisi, Foreign Minister Hossein Abdullahian, and the entourage that accompanied them when the helicopter they were traveling crashed on Sunday. Precisely, Iranian officials said the bodies will be taken to the local mosque and then to the city of Qom, near the Persian capital. There they will honor them at the holy shrine of Hazrat Fatima before taking the remains to the capital Tehran for a farewell ceremony. In this context, Cuba began a day of mourning on Tuesday at 6 a.m. local time for the death of Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi. Established by President Miguel Diaz-Canel in his decree of official mourning, the day will last until midnight on Wednesday. During this period, the Cuban flag will be flown at half-mast in public buildings and military installations. In the official note, the Presidency of the Republic highlighted the contribution of President Raisi to the strengthening of relations of friendship and cooperation between the two nations. For this reason, the government and people of Cuba share the pain of the people of Iran and express their confidence that the Islamic Revolution will know how to recover. On the other hand, in Iran, authorities announced that presidential elections will be held on June 28th. Mohammad Makhmer, acting president and head of the executive branch, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, president of parliament, and the head of the judiciary, Gholam Hossein Mohseni, held a meeting upon confirmation of the passing of President Ebrahim Raisi. The approved plan will open the registration of candidates this May 30th until June 3rd. The campaign period will run from June 12th until the morning of June 27th. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan expressed his deepest condolences to the people of Iran after the helicopter crash took the lives of President Ebrahim Raisi, Foreign Minister Hossein Abdullahian, and other officials in an accident that rocked the world.
Today, we received sad news from our neighbor and brother country, Iran. We have learned that the President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Mr. Ebrahim Raisi, and his accompanying delegation died in a helicopter crash. We ask Allah to have mercy on the late Mr. Raisi, the Iranian foreign minister, and other officials who lost their lives in the accident.
Allah'tan rahmet niyaz ediyorum. Bu elim kazadan duyduğumuz
First of all, I would like to express our deep sorrow over this tragic accident. On behalf of myself, my country, and my nation, I would like to express our deepest condolences to the people of Iran. After receiving the news of the accident, we immediately contacted the Iranian authorities and declared our full commitment to contribute to the search and rescue efforts with all our means.
The Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of Our Americas People Trade Treaty expressed their solidarity with the Iranian people following the death of their president, Ebrahim Raisi. Through a statement, the all participating member states expressed that the member states of the Bolivarian Alliances for the People of Our America People's Trade Treaty deeply mourn the passing of the president of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Ebrahim Raisi, and his foreign minister, Hossein Abdullahian, after a helicopter crash in Varsakan County, East Azerbaijan province. Moreover, the text stresses that they are deeply saddened by the physical death of leaders who, with great belief and hard work, raised high the sovereignty and culture of their country, such as President Raisi. Likewise, Alba TCP expresses its sentiment of sorrow for the loss of the rest of the authorities who accompanied President Raisi and Minister Amir Abdullahian. Finally, the document points out that the Bolivarian Alliance expresses its most sincere condolences to all the relatives and close friends, as well as the people and government of the Islamic Republic of Iran for such an unfortunate loss. Moving on, the government of China reiterated that Taiwan is an inalienable part of its country, while affirming that political changes will not affect the One China principle. The spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China, Wang Wenbin, said that Taiwan is and always will be Chinese territory. He also added that there will be no maneuver that will allow the independence of the administrative region. The diplomat issued these statements following the pronouncement of the new president of Taiwan, Lai Ching-te, who promised to defend the island and urged Beijing to drop its challenges to its autonomy and democracy.
I would like to emphasize that Taiwan independence is a dead end. No matter under what guise or banner, the pursuit of Taiwan's independence and secession is doomed to fail.
The government of Venezuela rejected the statements made by the leader of the Progressive Democratic Party in Taiwan, Lai Ching-te, after becoming the new leader of that Chinese region. Through an official statement, the Venezuelan government expressed that the government of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela rejects the sectarian position of the leader of the Progressive Democratic Party, Mr. Lai Ching-te, expressed during his speech on May 20th, 2024, when he assumed the role of the new leader of the Taiwan region, which is contrary to the peaceful reunification of the strait, to peace and to regional stability. On the other hand, the document also stresses that the Bolivarian government, exalting the principle of peace diplomacy, condemns any threat from the hegemonic imperialism and categorically rejects any country's intervention under any pretext that could undermine regional peace and stability. Finally, the text said that the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela reiterates its eternal friendship with the brotherly People's Republic of China, with true commitment of continuing to deepen the political, bilateral and solidarity ties that contribute to the consolidation of the community of future share of mankind. Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. Other stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back. On Tuesday, under the guise of an alleged anti-terrorist raid, Israeli troops stormed the occupied West Bank city of Jenin following heavy combat with the resistance, killing a doctor, a teacher, and a student. The genocidal Israeli army reacts to a new failure in struggles against Palestinian resistance. They take their revenge in the bodies of innocent people. The Palestinian press described the offensive as one of the most violent in recent months, recorded in Jenin. Fighting between the resistance and the occupying soldiers began early Tuesday morning. Schools were evacuated due to the wave of violence, which has so far left 12 wounded in addition to those slaughtered. The Palestinian resistance movement, Hamas, accused the International Criminal Court of comparing its actions in defense of its sovereignty with Israel's genocidal actions in Gaza. Hamas accusations come after it issued arrest warrants for resistance leaders as well as for Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Palestinian resistance warned that it is not possible to compare the victims with the perpetrators and urged the ICC to cancel the arrest warrants against its representatives, as in its opinion they push Israel to continue with its war of extermination. Hamas added that the measure against the Israeli premier comes 7 months late and urged the court to extend arrest warrants against all military and officials who have participated in the Israeli aggression against the Gaza Strip. The reaction of the Palestinian resistance comes after the International Criminal Court pointed out the responsibility of the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for the crimes against humanity committed in the Gaza Strip. The prosecutor Karim Khan held Netanyahu, the Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, and several Hamas leaders criminally responsible for war crimes and crimes against humanity. The charges against Netanyahu and the Israeli War Minister include intent for extermination and starvation as methods of warfare, including denial of humanitarian aid supplies and deliberate targeting of civilians in conflict.
Today, that I have reasonable grounds to believe, on the basis of evidence collected and examined by my office, that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant bear criminal responsibility for the following international crimes committed on the territory of the State of Palestine from at least the 8th of October 2023. The crimes include starvation of civilians as a method of warfare, willfully causing great suffering, serious injury to body or health or cruel treatment, willful killing or murder, and intentionally directing attacks against a civilian population, as well as crimes against humanity of extermination and or murder, persecution, and allegations of crimes of committing other inhumane acts.
In Peshawar, Pakistan supporters of the Islamic political party Jamaat-e-Islami attended a rally in solidarity with the Palestinian people in Peshawar on Sunday. The people of Pakistan joined the massive demonstrations that are taking place throughout the world against the ongoing Israeli siege. To date, over 35,000 Gazans have been killed, according to the Palestinian Ministry of Health, since October 7, 2023, and the Israeli operations in Gaza and the West Bank that followed. In other news, in Mexico, more than 250,000 Army and National Guard troops will be responsible for the security of the electoral process. State agencies met to define the security strategy for the coming June 2nd general elections, in which more than 99.5 million people are registered to vote. Electoral authorities confirmed to have received 532 requests for protections, 45 of which were declined and 487 are currently active. And on Monday, the United Socialist Party of Venezuela held a press conference on the sanctions applied to the country and the death of Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi. The first Vice President of the United Socialist Party of Venezuela, Diosdado Cabello, stated that the structures of the party continue to be strengthened in view of the presidential elections of next July 28th. In this sense, Cabello affirmed that the governmental projects have become a direct response of attention to the people of Venezuela. He also expressed his condolences to the Islamic Republic of Iran after the death of its president, Ebrahim Raisi.
The best thing about all this is that despite the blockade, despite the sanctions, despite the persecutions, well, the national government, the Bolivarian government, has found a way to do much more with much less.
In view of the upcoming elections in the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela on July 28th, Data Viva conducted a survey regarding the elections. Let's see more details.
The pollster Data Viva conducted a survey in the Venezuelan National Territory between May 13th and 17th to a total of 1,320 people. The survey focuses on candidate preferences, party preferences, and citizen participation for the upcoming elections. Regarding candidate preference, more than 54% of the participants in the survey supported the current president Nicolás Maduro, presidential candidate of the United Socialist Party of Venezuela. Meanwhile, 19.4% support the opposition candidate of the Unitary Platform, Edmundo González, and on the other hand, the presidential candidate for the Pencil Alliance Party, Antonio Ecarri, received a support of 5.3%. Concerning party preference, the results of the survey showed that 48% of those surveyed sympathized with the ruling PUSV and the Great Patriotic Poll. On the contrary, the presence for the PU was only of 13%, thus the opposition reaches 21%, adding the PU and other opposition parties. Finally, the last aspect of the survey focused on participation in the elections. In response to the question, will you participate in the upcoming July 28th elections, 65% of those who answered said that they would go to the polls to cast their votes, 16% said that they might not vote, and only 6% said that they would definitely not go to cast their vote. The upcoming July 28th elections are getting closer, and DataViva provides statistics to be able to have a forecast of the possible results. The current president of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela and PSUV candidate Nicolás Maduro leads by a percentage that triples the main opposition candidate Edmundo González and any other opposition candidate.
We have a fun short break coming up, but before we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience. You can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin American and Caribbean as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with teleSUR. Fun short break, don't go away. Welcome back. In Brazil, a group of volunteers called the National Housing Struggle Movement are helping the flood-affected residents of the city of Porto Alegre in the midst of lack of power and running water. Our correspondent Ebrahim has the story.
3 weeks into the worst floods in the history of Rio Grande do Sul, hundreds of thousands of people are still displaced, and large swaths of towns and cities are still lacking electricity and running water. In Porto Alegre, a socialist squatters group called the National Housing Struggle Movement, or MNLM, has set up a voluntary network of community kitchens.
No one expected the floods to be so big. So a lot of people resisted evacuating their houses, especially because they were worried that thieves would come and break into them. So we built a support center here in the November. Despite the fact that we haven't had electricity for 18 days, and we went 13 days without running water, we built a center to receive donations for the whole city because of our centralized location.
Using the November 20 squat in Porto Alegre's 4th district as a command center, volunteers from the MNLM receive food and water donations from individuals and the city government, cook meals for anyone in the neighborhood who needs them, and delivers the remaining food and water to 3 community kitchens in poor neighborhoods in the hills of the urban periphery, where tens of thousands of families fled when they were flooded out of their homes.
A house around here normally has 6 or 7 people in it. Now they have 20 or 25 because they are putting up friends and relatives who were flooded out of their homes. So we are here showing solidarity and helping each other.
Rio Grande do Sul's Civil Defense Department estimates that it will take at least 2 more weeks before the floodwaters fully subside. Brian Meir, teleSUR, Porto Alegre.
In Guatemala, forest fires destroyed more than 40,000 hectares of forest between the end of 2023 and up to date. According to the National Coordinator for Disaster Reduction, a total of 4,700 hectares of green areas have been completely burned, which is 42% more than the 28,700 hectares that were destroyed in the same period of the previous year. They also warned that so far there have been 2,314 fires registered throughout 2024. The fire crisis has been influenced by record temperatures that exceed 40 degrees Celsius and thermal sensations of 49 degrees Celsius. In Belize, educational authorities suspended academic activities in several localities of the country due to poor air quality caused by high temperatures, which led to the contamination of the atmosphere with toxic smoke as a result of forest fires in the territory. In the United Kingdom, the London High Court ruled Monday that Australian journalist Julian Assange has the right to appeal his extradition to the United States. Two London High Court judges granted Assange permission to appeal, having previously asked Washington to provide satisfactory assurances about free speech protections at any U.S. trial. The journalist will now face another court battle in his long-running legal case after the UK government approved his extradition in June 2022. His defense attorney told the court they do not accept assurances given by U.S. prosecutors that Assange will be able to rely on First Amendment rights and protections. Assange is wanted by Washington for publishing hundreds of thousands of secret U.S. documents exposing their war crimes in Afghanistan and Iraq. In the meantime, hundreds of protesters gathered outside the United Kingdom's High Court of Justice in support of journalist Julian Assange. The ruling was welcomed with cheers and slogans in support of Julian Assange. The journalist's legal team indicated that in the case of an unfavorable outcome, Assange could have been on a plane to the United States in less than 24 hours. Stella Assange expressed her intention to take the case to the European Court of Human Rights.
The judges reached the right decision. We spent a long time hearing the United States putting lipstick on a pig, but the judges did not buy it.
The Japanese animation studio Studio Ghibli became the first collective to receive an honorary Palme d'Or at Cannes on Monday. The Japanese studio, which has been bringing a new spirit to animated cinema for 4 decades, has won the audience's hearts with masterpieces such as Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle. Ghibli's co-founder Hayao Miyazaki was unable to travel to Cannes but sent a video thanking the festival and the fans for the award, noting that it also belonged to the staff and the audience. Miyazaki has announced his retirement more than once, but he continues to work and returned to theaters last year with The Boy and the Heron, a film that won him an Oscar. Like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. Also join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For Telesur English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.